The digital world moves fast, but real growth comes from real conversations. This is e-Coffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show Coffee with Experts. This is your host Ranmay here, and today we have Sam Dunning, who is the founder of Breaking B2B. Hey Sam, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me on. I look forward to the chat.
Lovely. Sam, before we move any forward, you're doing quite a few things, running your own agency, having a podcast. Take us through, your journey thus far, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I'll try and give you the least boring version possible. So as of now, Breaking B2B is just about to go into month 17. I've worked in websites, SEO for probably the best part of 12, 13 years, made all the mistakes, learned everything the hard way through my own failures, learnings, and going uphill to eventually firing up this company Breaking B2B, like I say, about 16, 17 months ago. And we essentially, marketing leaders, founders, usually at B2B tech, SaaS, or sometimes service companies, they basically come to us if they're tired of seeing competitors above them in Google's organic search results, or now LLMs and AI search, or they've tried to do a bit of SEO in-house, but perhaps lack the resources or know-how to make it a success, or they're just kind of tired of relying on paid media or outbound sales, events, or founders network to drive pipeline, and they want a more reliable way of driving inbound leads and revenue. So we fixed that with a bit of an unusual approach to SEO and content marketing. And that's usually where kind of SaaS teams, anywhere from kind of bootstrapped companies doing a few mil, or Series A, Series B, Series C companies pull us in to make SEO a reliable engine. So that's what I'm doing most of the time, running that company, Breaking B2B, or I also, like you said, run the podcast, which is also called Breaking B2B. That's been going 5+ years now. And that's a mix. Each week, we interview SaaS marketing and B2B marketing leaders and founders to share exactly what's driving growth for them today. So if you can watch or listen and steal the strategies, or I do a solo episode. That could be an unusual experiment I'm running in B2B. Could be me cold calling VPs or CMOs to see if they'll buy SEO. It could be me doing an SEO experiment, sharing a breakdown of how we ranked in Google or AI search, or it could be me on the public asking people what they think about B2B marketing. So all kind of weird stuff. That's what I spend most of my time messing around with.
Lovely, lovely. So, podcast is a great way to kind of, not only brand yourself, but also your agency. So, what is your advice to our listeners today in terms of how to leverage podcast, maybe as a lead gen as well, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Podcast, I'd basically say do the opposite of what I did. So I started my podcast, like I say, 5+ years ago, and initially did it more for my own benefit, in the sense that, I guess, foolishly enough, when I started the show, it wasn't called Breaking B2B. When I first started, it was called Sam's Business Growth Show. And all I did was interview people that I wanted to learn from. So that was sales leaders, marketing leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, all kinds of different folks. So it wasn't focused on anything at all. And yeah, we got good insights from these guests. I learned a ton. I went from kind of the first few episodes like super nervous, shaking like crazy in my seat, sweating like crazy, like not really knowing what to say, even though I had a script on my other screen, to eventually building up my confidence, learning a ton, like I say, from these guests, and eventually getting some nice feedback from people watching or listening. But it didn't really generate any business. It was like university on steroids for me, because I learned so much over those 1-2 years, and then eventually thought I should probably, because I'm investing time in this podcast, I'm investing cash with the producer, I should probably try and get some business impact from it. Yeah. So then 2-3 years in, we renamed it Breaking B2B. I thought I'm only going to interview like B2B tech and SaaS marketing leaders and founders. And that way it can be a bit more strategic. In one, it's focused for the audience, it actually gives them useful insights. And two, I could actually build a relationship with some of these potential folks, could be prospects for us, or they might be able to send partners our way, or we might eventually become clients, and started doing more solo episodes. So I'd actually give breakdowns of how folks tuning in could rank on Google, AI search, content tips, link building tips, general B2B marketing strategies that have worked for us and our clients. And then eventually, so that started driving inbound leads, partnership opportunities, and also gave us content, a bit of a content marketing flywheel that we could then start repurposing through LinkedIn, our newsletter, and all that good stuff.
And you went from, co-running an agency to solo founding Breaking B2B, right? What really pushed you to take that jump to kind of, start your own thing all alone?
Yeah, I mean, I won't go into too much detail, but I worked previously, there was three of us that ran the last web agency I was at,
Yeah.
but we all had different directions of where we wanted to take the business. Like I've always been, certainly the last few years, I've been very driven and certain goals and milestones I want to hit, whereas kind of some of the other founders had their own separate SaaS businesses and other businesses that they were more focused on. So I kind of split off from this last web agency that I was at, exited out of that, and they were kind of serving tons of different businesses. There was no real vertical focus. They weren't niched down, and I knew when I was going to start this agency, Breaking B2B, we're going to serve mainly B2B SaaS and tech companies, focus on SEO and content marketing, and be quite drilled down. And I'd learnt that niche from my B2B marketing podcast. I'd learnt that that was where I wanted to focus. That was where I excel. That's where we get client results. That's what I'm interested in. So it makes sense that we provide that offer, and then went from there, basically.
With your last agency, with your last stint, right, you would have worked with other niches as well. How do you think, the B2B space is different from the other, let's say, direct to consumer or, let's say, B2D segments of the business?
Yeah, it shouldn't be that much in terms of mindset, but it is. It's like when you jump to B2B, weird things happen. It's like we think we need to talk really corporate, and we think that even though we're speaking to marketing leaders, revenue leaders, founders, because their company is in B2B and they're turning over millions or more, it's like we have to speak super corporate. We have to say email, we have to type emails like, "Hi sir, I hope you're well. I have some ideas for you today, warm regards," like corporate BS, whereas I just don't do that. I used to do that years ago. So that's one thing. We kind of think everything has to be like super professional and corporate. I don't think it necessarily does. We're still talking to prospects that like to laugh, like to be entertained, have problems to solve. Yes, we need to get to the point, but we can do it in a way that's relatable. The other thing is, of course, that the more no-brainer thing is in B2B, oftentimes we're selling products that are a lot higher ticket, a lot higher investment, a lot higher pricing. Therefore, the consideration level and the time, the sales cycles is usually much longer in B2B. So whereas not all the time in B2C, like there can be high ticket stuff in B2C, right? Houses, residential homes, cars, holidays, whatever. But in B2B, oftentimes, if we're selling high ticket software, solutions, and whatever it is, they can be 100K plus annual subscriptions or more. So there's more consideration involved. There's usually multiple stakeholders, multiple execs involved in the decision. Yeah. Therefore, the marketing that we put out, I'm a big fan of thinking of marketing as an ecosystem. But even our SEO clients, I say, look, SEO is always going to work best when it's accompanied by other channels that your clients spend time on, that they get trusted information from, and that they're hanging out on a lot. So for example, if you do SEO as a B2B tech company, then it makes sense to then retarget with LinkedIn ads, do some thought leader ads. Probably makes sense to have a podcast and YouTube channel if your prospects are spending time on there, so you can kind of keep top of mind, educate, entertain them as they're going through sales cycles, because we know the 95-5 rule that at any given time only 5% of our total addressable market is actually in market. So it's important that we educate, entertain, stay top of mind around the problems we solve and how we help. So we're not just focusing on capturing demand, we're focusing on kind of the staying top of mind for folks that aren't yet ready to buy.
Absolutely. And moving on, talking about SEO, you have been really vocal about the money keyword strategy. So what is the biggest misconception marketers have about low volume, high intent SEO?
Oh, there's loads. I mean, at a high level, like you say, I often ramble on about something called money keywords, which is, in simple terms, if you're going to do SEO, to make best bang for buck, whether you're working with an agency, a contractor, or using internal resource, it makes sense. We want to provide time to value. We want to drive inbound leads, pipeline, demos, signups as quick as humanly possible. So we might as well focus on folks that are in market. So collect that demand, capture that demand from the 5% of folks looking for our solution now. So that's all it's about, really. Work out what does a dream client search on Google, AI search, LLMs, when they actually need your offer right now, your solution, your software, your service, or they're comparing vendors, or they're looking for a very crisp and specific problem that you solve. Start with that. And oftentimes those are low search volume but high sales intent queries, whereas historically a lot of SEO agencies kind of love to send reports that show we've ramped up traffic like 10 times or 20 times this month, but then you look at the report, you think, yeah, our traffic's gone up, but we're not actually increasing pipeline or lead flow or demo flow or whatever that KPI you care about. And that's because they focused on keywords like, what is a website? what is a KPI, how to build a CRM. It's like, this is stuff that students will learn or folks will search right at the start of their journey. Very unlikely to result in an inbound lead.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's getting killed off by Google AI overviews, like the instant answers above the fold in organic search results. So that's a quick snapshot on kind of how we think about that.
Absolutely. And, SEO, I mean, we hear it every, let's say, 5 years that SEO is dead. And, and something like this comes up, let's say link building is dead, or content after AI, all that storm, content is going to be taken over. So what is your, take on these sort of statements coming up every now and then?
Yeah, SEO died back in 1977, along with cold email, paid ads, demand gen, outbound sales, cold calling. Yeah, it's all dead, man. Like, there's no point in even doing B2B marketing anymore. Just do something else, go into a different industry. But yeah, on a serious note, usually, what I've seen anyway, usually when someone says something's dead on LinkedIn, it's usually the opposite of the service they sell. So someone will say paid ads is dead because they sell cold outbound or cold email. Or someone will say cold email is dead because they sell some kind of inbound marketing service, which just makes me laugh. But SEO is in a funny time right now, right? Like, a lot of change in SEO with LLMs, AI searches, and Google rolling out AI mode in the US. There's a massive shake-up happening. And I suppose a few things to bear in mind is that Rand Fishkin, SparkToro did a report a few months back that Google still gets, I think, around 373 times more searches than the AI and LLM tools. And even if you combined all the AI tools together, they'd still take only up around 2%, 3% of the search market. So Google is still the beast. Google's still the monster when it comes to collecting demand and capturing those inbound leads, searching for your offer or comparing vendors now, but that will change. So SEO is still working, there's still demand to capture from Google, but there's a massive change going on. So I encourage a lot of folks, if you are in a category that's fairly mature, if there are people searching for your solution, then start building that foundation to show up on LLMs and AI searches. And a lot of that is, as a few snapshots, like ChatGPT pulls like 86% of its results from Bing. So thinking about adhering to Bing guidelines, understanding that LLMs work differently to what ranks on Google, understanding they like to pull information from third-party sites. So if you're in the software game, for example, if you're a B2B SaaS, if you can get listed, brand mentions are huge right now in LLMs. So let's pretend you provide calendar scheduling software. If you can get listed and cited on, 10, 15 or more of the top, those classic, we reviewed the top 10 calendar scheduling softwares of 2025. If you can get loads of external brand mentions of your company and then calendar scheduling software on a bunch of other competitor listicles, it's going to give you a nice boost. I start getting people to comment on relevant Reddit threads, that kind of stuff. That third-party validation stuff is really, really big for getting picked up in the LLMs. And there is some basic SEO structuring as well that helps. But that's, a few quick thoughts.
Absolutely. And, how important is still link building is for SEO as per you, Sam?
Not so much on the LLMs, but if you do link building anyway, then you can tie in brand mentions. So you can kind of do it together, get your brand mentioned, then get a do follow link back to one of your focus keywords and pages. So, it's still important from a Google perspective. Google organic search, you can rank with content alone. If you go after niche long tail searches, in our example, as a B2B SEO agency, as a SaaS SEO agency, if I tried to rank for something like best SEO company for health tech, then I might be able to rank without links. I might be able to just create a really useful piece of content that's helpful, that has social proof, that's better than anything else on the internet, and rank it. But if I'm trying to rank for SaaS SEO agency, you better believe I need links, because that's competitive. So for some competitive terms, you can rank with content alone. For some that have a lot of competitors trying to rank for the same thing, you're going to need links on Google. And there's a bunch of ways you can do that for free now, podcasting like we're doing now, doing owned media with other people, collaborating, getting an article on their website and get a link back is one of the easiest low-lift ways to earn a nice little link and kind of give those pages a boost. So link building is still important for competitive terms from a Google perspective.
Absolutely. Doing the right thing the right way, obviously. There are a lot of spammy stuff which is there, but if you're still kind of ensuring that the mentions are being there at the right place, obviously it kind of still helps. Now, moving on, Sam, what is your take on ChatGPT and all the AI storm that we are in? We thought that it's going to hit us for 6 months and people laid low and, everyone took a back seat, but then it kept hitting us, time and again, right? So now 2025, it's changing everything that we do, right? So where do you think are we heading that with all of this AI storm?
Yeah, I think eventually, I'll speak to it from where I see the SEO world going. I think we're moving more and more into a zero-click ecosystem, I think. So as you can see, Google's trying to serve up a lot of AI overviews above the fold. You're getting instant answers. You don't necessarily need to click through to a website. AI mode's now an option in US, so you can click through on the Google tab and you can go to AI mode, and again, that's basically their version of ChatGPT. ChatGPT gives you answers, as we know, detailed queries, and they've got small citation links to external websites, so it's not necessarily easy. Like Google always historically had the 10 blue links. I think we're slowly moving away from that, where we're getting more and more information without necessarily having to click through to an external website. So we're moving into an era where websites will get less traffic, they'll get more impressions from the LLMs or Google, and it's more about creating, I believe, we're moving into a system where it's more about creating mind share for your category, for your solution, for your sector, for the problems that you solve. So folks might see you multiple times in LLMs, Google search, and then eventually just go straight to your homepage. So more about building it from that recollection aspect, and then folks might click through straight to your homepage, for example, or another page. And I suppose there's a few ways to think about it. Like right now, like I say, the LLM total search value compared to Google is still relatively low. That will only grow. Yeah. But if you have if you sell to a technical persona, a technical ideal client profile, they're probably using LLMs way more than Google search. So in that case, you should probably look to go in quite hard on LLMs. Whereas if your persona, if your dream client is a bit more old school, then you can probably steadily start to build up the foundation now while still doing some Google work. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it at a high level.
Lovely. Great, Sam. This has been a great session. But before we wrap this up, I mean, you have been involved in setting up 2 agencies now, right? And quite successful ones, doing your own podcast. So for young listeners who are trying to make a mark in the digital industry or trying to start up their own agency, what is your advice to them?
I suppose if you're looking to start up your own B2B service agency, which is all I've really done, it's all I can really speak to, is what first off, I wouldn't recommend starting an agency until you've worked in a startup. Go work in a startup for a few years, get yourself chucked in the deep end,
I'm
and
so
learn
glad
it.
you're saying this.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not going to, just because that's what I did, and that helped a lot. So yeah, find a startup that's in a niche that you're interested in, or if you're not, then you'll soon find out and you can go do something else. So whether that is, I don't know, a startup SEO agency, a startup tech, startup SaaS, whatever, go throw yourself in there because you'll soon become a jack of all trades. It's what I did. Like when I started a web agency 12, 14 years ago, I was doing some selling, some project management, some account management, building wireframes, working with the web team, putting out fires, like doing all this stuff just in one day, every day. It's like madness. But that saying necessity is the mother of invention couldn't be more true. When you learn to handle fires, deal with difficult customers, deal with all these hard situations, it kind of sets you up, 1, to know if you actually like it, and then 2, to know, like if you're cut out to do it. Plus you'll learn all these hard skills that you wouldn't get elsewhere. Do that for a few years, see if you like it, see if you enjoy it. And then slowly, if you do, look to get some freelance or consulting clients on the side while still at this job. So whether that's, I don't know, consulting, freelancing, whether you're building websites, whatever you're doing, whatever's relative to that industry. And then once you're getting some cash flowing on the side and you're happy with the work, you're able to deliver and you actually enjoy it, and you've got a bit of reserve saved, then think about starting your own thing. That would be my advice.
Hustle your way through,
Yeah, in a smart way. Probably a bit smarter than I did. And that's probably what I'd say. I think there's a lot of advice on LinkedIn, some good, some bad. Some people quit your job and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't say that. I mean, get the experience, get the know-how, work in a startup, soak up everything you can, and then think about slowly building up on the side.
Lovely, Sam. Thank you for the insightful session. Yeah, it was a great pleasure speaking with you. Cheers, man.
Thanks for having me.